I just got home and I wanted to record real quick. So I went to Spokane, and it was weird as can be, the drive to get there, which I recorded about, and it was so weird. And one thing that it was really, really cool while I was there, I didn't pick up my phone really. There was a couple times when I was all by myself, like some people went to the store and everybody was gone, and so I don't know, I might have had like an hour or something. I'd go in and look. But otherwise, I didn't mess with my phone. And I had, so all of the time I spent with people, it was very, what was that word? Satisfactory. It felt really like you were satisfied, like you were really tuned in and had real conversations. And I don't know, it was just, there just seemed to be something so different, just the same way as the ride there and the ride home. There just seems to be these shifts that are hard to explain, but it is more about our consciousness. I can just tell, and it's so hard to explain. But to me, it's like anything that happens for any of us is going to be happening for all of us. So, I'm just going to keep talking about it. But, so it was a weird thing with the time and in reality and everything when I went, and how it wasn't the same, even though it was the same drive I did all the time. And then this one, and then I got there, and, the glamping thing was pretty rough stuff. It was like totally winter still. Everywhere is totally winter. Even when I just came back and was crossing the pass, which you cannot cross across Washington without having to go across the mountains. And I had crossed in a snowstorm. It was snowing and raining. I was like, oh my God. If I would have looked this up, I probably would have been panicked. But I got through it because I had my new tires on, so I was a little more confident. But when I was there, though, I just really tried to stay focused and present and in the moment. And Stella stayed at one of my daughters, and I stayed at the other one, because yard and steps, the way it works with Stella and my one daughter has a huge yard and less steps, but the other daughter has a space for me to sleep. So we were separate, and Stella did so well. And I think it was kind of like giving her a break from guarding me, because she's so tuned into me if she's around me, it's like a contracted thing. So she's very tuned into me when she's with me. And so when she was away, they were all even so impressed. They were just like, oh my gosh, she's such a good girl. Because usually when people are around me, she's a lot more, like she tries to, I don't know how to explain it, but she knows she's my sidekick. So being away from her, I thought, oh, this is gonna be so hard. But really, it was weird. Like, as I could finish a piece of toast without having to share it, and just little things like that, and not having to get up and go take her out, and all of the stuff that I've been doing. Even though I had, grandkids and stuff, I still wasn't getting sleep or anything. It wasn't like that kind of thing. But it still was nice. It was just kind of, I think it was good for her, and it was good for me just to have that little break for a couple days. And but the coolest thing that I was so excited about, that I was like, I've got to talk about this, is, so when I was there, I was really spending time talking to everybody. And I got to have so many good conversations. I was so excited. So when I'm talking about people waking up, and, and I get comments on TikTok and stuff, with people being concerned because one partner or mom or whatever, it's very divided in the family, who's awake and who's not. And I keep saying, everybody, well, I think for the most part, most people are going to wake up. Whether they're going to want to participate, because it's going to be a lot to wake up, because you have to face yourself. So like I've been saying all along, some of these kids that are doing some really rotten stuff, that is going to hurt them in their soul when they start waking up. And it's going to be some hard stuff for people to face. If they can get through it and, learn to accept themselves and see, we're just at school. You didn't have to know stuff before you knew it, but you have to accept yourself for being somebody who doesn't know everything, and allowing yourself to learn from your mistakes. So, that's going to be individual with each person. Each soul has its own thing that's going. Oh, she's at the door already. I'll see if I can finish before. Hold on. That was fast. Stella, come on. That is so irritating. God. When she just, has a fit to get in. I open the door and she goes to the end of the porch to show, like she's a pointer, like for hunting and how they'll go. It's weird. I am doing something. Boy, she was excited to get home though. As soon as she got home, she just ran out there and started guarding the yard. She had to get out there and make sure everybody knew she was here. So she was so excited. But anyway, so what I wanted to say was about people waking up, because I kept saying people were going to wake up. And I know a lot of people are concerned and worried, especially people who haven't been awake very long. Like I've been going through this for years now. Oh my gosh, Stella, why don't you have a fit? And so, I don't know, I've got more experience about because I've been doing it longer, I guess. So what I have noticed is, like I had talked about before, people were waking up to all different things, but now it is so much gone so extreme and such a progression that it is turning people's thing on, like, okay, this is too much. This has gone a little too far now. And so I had one daughter who, she's the one that works with the homeless community, and which is seeing all of these dead people all the time, all of the fentanyl overdoses. It's super, super serious in certain communities, and that's the community she works with, and it's really, really bad. That's not even counting the kids who are getting it, but in the homeless community, which is growing so much, they even had told me there was a whole homeless village down there. And then my other daughter, I went out with her and we drove past it, and I was like, oh my God, is that the homeless? It was huge. It's like they've built their own community on the edge of downtown, kind of, and it's just a whole, I don't even know how many tents are in there, so many, and they're all keeping it real nice and stuff, but the amount of homelessness is growing so much, and I know it has a lot to do with that moratorium. I know that was a trick for people, because they got laid off and then they couldn't get their house back. And when I was driving too, I did the state highway, which I swear, I don't want to do the interstate anymore. The state highways are the way to go. They're beautiful. They're less chaotic. And the interstate was faster because you can drive so fast and there's nothing there. There's stuff on the way, but it's not like when you go through the state highway, you have to slow down and go through these little towns. You got to go 30 miles an hour and stuff like that. And so this, when I was going on there, it's less miles, but it takes longer because you got to go through so many spots where it's slower, but it's just calm and it's so pretty. But the only bummer was, like, there was one town, and it was pretty big for these small towns. Like, it had a little downtown that was several blocks. And I was going through it like at 10:15 in the morning, and there was like 2 cars in the whole downtown. No people walking around. No, I don't even know how many stores were actually open. And it just really hit me how they've really been hitting hard on these smaller communities. And when I was driving, I was watching them spray for hours and hours and hours. And they do these things like they are creating clouds. They do these little swirls and stuff. It's crazy. And but it's been, that stuff is raining hard on, it was so much the whole way through what people think of as some flyover, but it's these small towns. And a lot of them, it just seemed kind of empty and, more desolate. Made me even think like, some of these little towns, they could go in and, wipe out a whole town. And how would we know? The news isn't going to tell us. Who's going to tell us? If they had some relative that had moved away and they started speaking out about it, well, they're just censored, So driving through, I swear, I recommend everybody drive through your state, take a road trip, take a day trip, drive 6 hours out and, spend the night somewhere, or 8 hours, whatever you consider a day thing. And then, and then drive another route home or something. It is different. There is something different. And time has no relevance. As long as you keep focused on just being in the moment and not focused. Like if I just sat there and would have been like, oh my God, 4 hours and 59 minutes, 4 hours and 58 minutes, if I would have just sat there like that. Because when I left, it was going to be a lot further. a lot more time. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to get home till 2:30. I was like, okay, I'm not going to focus on that. I'm not going to focus on, how many more hours or any of that stuff. I'm just going to focus on the drive. Just focus on the drive. And time was flying. Every time I'd look, it'd be like an hour. And so, and it didn't feel tedious. It felt just free. Right when I left, I had just got onto the state highway and a big bald eagle flew right over me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it's just like the universe was, giving me this freedom kind of sign or language or signal to me. And it felt like that, there wasn't traffic and everything. And so it felt really freeing. But so they are really, the one daughter is really, really waking up to what's going on with the homeless, what's going on with the drug situation. There's a huge homeless shelter that's downtown, and the new mayor, who is a total sellout apparently, she wants to move the homeless shelter out. They're going to move it further away from the city, and she thinks that's going to solve all the homeless problem. It is. I would imagine every city is looking like this right now. There wasn't a place under a bridge that wasn't filled with, it's a big problem that they've got going. No doubt about it. There's some people in dire straits right now. And just sleeping outside of my mom's, how freaking cold it was. I have so much empathy for these people. Oh my God. Freaking horrible. And I guess they stay close to the cities because of services, because there's like meals that they can go get once a day and stuff. So there's different services available, but see, that's how they even keep them trapped there. There's so many better things we could do as a society, as a community. And we got to stop relying on these government officials who are only there to sell us out. When I went shopping there too, because I wanted to do some shopping at my favorite thrift stores, and I got this really cute sweater, and it was this knitted, it was just really cute, and I couldn't see really the tags. So then later when I had my glasses on, I looked at it because it says something like about Freedom America, something, I don't know. I was like, oh, because I always look at brands. That's, if you go to the thrift store, you gotta make sure you pay attention to brands. And so, because if you buy certain brands, you are gonna probably, some things are gonna fall apart a lot faster. You're gonna get way higher quality if you know certain brands that are higher quality. So anyways, it's just a good thing to know is different brands. And So, what was I going to say about those brands? So when I went shopping, I got some really cool stuff at the shopping. I can't remember what I was going to say. I'll just skip around. So, another thing that they started noticing too is how hard the school's pushing on the kids and the gender thing. That they got their red flags up on that now. So they've got all sorts of flags waving, even if they don't pay attention to certain things that other people think, like, well, you have to be awake to you if you don't see this, you're not awake. It's not true at all. And I think it's just a process that each soul is going to go through, and they're going to all be coming at it from different, what it is that first was, first time that they got poked in the spidey sense, where something just felt like something's not right here. Because that's all it takes, is just start feeling like questioning your reality, like, notice something's not right here. And then when you start asking the questions, you start seeing. But, they were so comfortable watching TV and stuff. So they had some more things that they haven't noticed yet. But, it's already started going. And my other daughter, she was going through all of these different things that she has been noticing too. She had even started noticing the focusing on her diet and how it has improved her skin and just the whole way her skin looks. And she said that something else. I pushed so hard on the big pharma. I think she is because she's like, I'm taking something, so I'm just like, don't rely on it though. Plan on it being short term. That's what everybody needs to. They've just got people so tricked to just give over their health to them. But another thing she had noticed about, and she was very restrictive on her eating. She had gone all like, I'm going vegan. And a lot of the people who went vegan at a certain time, it was all so much about the animal torture of what goes on in the corporate farms. And it was so outrageous to so many people. They're like, I'm not going to eat meat anymore. And but what I always say, you have to listen to your body. And when I stopped eating meat, it was my body was telling me. Every time I would start to chew it, I would start to feel sick. I would start feeling like, to me, I kept feeling like I was chewing on flesh just over and over and over. It just grossed me out. And I couldn't do it, but it was my body was telling me, it was like, no, you can't do this. And some people could go through that, but I don't. I think when they're choosing to do something because it's kind of like getting on the bandwagon, like, well, we're all going to go vegan and stuff like that. When you're not listening to your body, then your body's not going to be so fluid while you're trying to, make it do certain things. Like, especially if you're trying to make it do something because, it's kind of feeding the ego, like, I'm a good person, I don't eat meat, not, because you really have to listen to your body. And, I know a lot of those people thought, we're taking on the man or whatever. I'm not going to be, again, I'm not going to hurt animals. And, a lot of them got to the point where, I'm not going to eat another living thing. But everything's alive. So, and it's kind of part of nature, so there's a lot more complexity when you're deciding about dietary needs and stuff. And it has so much to do with tuning into your body. And so I'm always saying, you got to do that. And when she would be eating, she had so many restrictions. And I kept saying, you got to quit doing all these restrictions. You need to get more towards trying to eat more natural, more healthy. But, and see, to me, it seems like when all of these people started being outraged, people should have started saying, hey, we can't support these corporate farms. We need to start supporting local farmers. But things have to get really bad for people to really understand or start noticing or whatever, But, for her to start noticing her skin and how the food and everything, how different, and to take some of those rules off of herself, that's a big step for people, especially if it's somebody who holds on to all the rules, because the rules is how they get us. They set all these rules, and they want compliance, compliance, compliance. So anybody, who, starts breaking any rules or whatever, keep on, tell them good job, because, that's consciousness separating itself from this controlling. While I was driving too, at one point, all of a sudden I looked and I just saw all these signs: go this way, don't go this way. And at one point there was even a sign that was up way, I don't even understand what this sign was doing way up here, and it said wrong way. I was like, well, who would be going right there? You'd be flying in the sky. So I was like, this is so weird. But I was thinking about the signs, and my tongue is doing it again. And I was thinking about the signs and how weird it is. But it is really like we are in school. It really is like consciousness developing itself in this school. And, it seems to me there really had to be directions, When I started looking at that about, it's 10 p.m., do you know where your kids are? And I told that to my mom when I was just at her house. I said, do you remember when I used to say that? Like, it had to remind you guys to check where your kids were. And she said there was a lot of people that you really did have to remind. They really wouldn't think about it. I was like, see how much we've developed, see how far we've come. There's a great reason why we get this opportunity for this evolution, for ascension, because we really have come a long ways. We've learned a lot. We've developed so much as human beings, no matter what they want to call us, earthlings. We've developed so much as individuals. And especially when you think about this world of being so controlled and telling us what to do all the time, and now to pull free from that and actually begin to, it's like a kid getting to move out for the first time or something. And it's going to open up so much of the world for us. And when we get these med beds and stuff, it's going to take so much pressure off of people when, they don't have to worry all the time, like, if they let their kids out of their sight, someone's gonna, run over them, or they're gonna fall and bust their head open and have a brain injury or whatever. There's just been so much that has gone on for so long to just keep people, small and helpless and hopeless, and always a great candidate for pharmaceuticals. So, I just, when I had the conversations, and plus deep, meaningful conversations without people, absorbed in their phones, actually talking and communicating, and then plus talking about real things, and them starting to question things. I was just, oh my gosh, I was beside myself. I was so excited the whole time I was driving. I was like, oh my gosh, as soon as I get home, I got to record about this, because it's so exciting. And I just think there's so many people who are so stressed about, somebody's not going to wake up. And I am completely seeing that. Don't worry if they're not seeing every little thing, if they don't know, this fact or that fact, or you haven't seen this, don't flood them with information. Let them absorb things at their own pace, because they really are getting to this questioning phase of like, this isn't right. This isn't right. This isn't right. So it's really exciting. And I do feel a huge wave in the awakening. Like it really is like building a lot of, believe me, I was disappointed on the 5th. Even when I was at my mom's still, and I was so disappointed. I kept being like, oh my God, why don't they just say, why do we just get drug on and on in Groundhog Day? And she said, well, something is supposedly going to happen the 9th. Well, today's the 9th. Nothing's happened. I don't understand how they keep this going. It just drags and drags and drags. And then plus being gone, I don't know anything what's going on. So maybe there is more significant things happening. But no matter what, I think that significant things are happening in pockets. So even if it isn't necessarily a lot happening in your own area, I think a lot's happening all over. And sometimes it's probably a good thing when something's not happening in your area, because I think they just, rotate through. But I do think, whatever's going to happen, there's something big that is coming. I mean, that I have not wavered on that since I started talking about this 5 years ago or something 6 years ago. I wasn't doing it on here. I was just telling people, and everybody thought I was so crazy. So, but now I know I'm not crazy. They all just, they haven't seen it yet. But everybody's soul is awakening, and this is really exciting time, and we are going to go through a lot of healing, a lot of people having to face a lot of dark stuff about themselves. But, most of the people I know are really focused on their healing right now. So I'm super excited, and I think we all just have to really get in that kind of energy of just being like excited, not feeling like the burden and the pressure of this day after day, slow, what they want to just slowly, kill us, killing us slowly. So we take as many drugs as possible. So boycott the drugs, and, just take the best care of yourself. And, I think that we do have to, they're doing so much right now to interfere with so many things. They're taking people's homes, and then in mass, everywhere I went, mass amounts of apartments being put up. And just like over here, this little housing development, they're sticking in real quick. They're doing that all over. And, we're just going to have to, they're planning on keeping a hold of us. they're making their moves are, we're going to keep y'all here in this little city right here, and you're going to do what we say, and, you're going to get these if we tell you, and whatever we say, if you want food or money or anything. I'm like, no. I don't know how far this has to go. I don't know when this wave is going to crash, but it is building up momentum, and it is building up speed. And we just got to keep on just staying, knowing where we're headed, and don't let the darkness bring us out of the light. Stay focused on the light. But I'm going to talk some more tomorrow. Hopefully some of the stuff I made sense. But I just was so excited about the big change that I had seen while talking to people. And also a big important thing is, don't hold on to resentment for people calling you crazy. Just let it go. Let it go. You just remember what is going on here in the bigger picture, and don't worry about it. Just let it go. Keep in mind, that thing, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Just repeat that to yourself. They just haven't seen yet. And when they see, they're going to feel bad, and they're going to have enough stuff to feel bad. We don't need to burden them with more stuff. They're going to have their own stuff to work through. So, don't hold on to resentment, and stay focused on being excited, on the light and the future, and unity and love. And just know everybody is waking up. You don't have to, keep flooding anybody with information. It's happening naturally. Just like a baby gives birth. It just happened, or a baby gives birth. A mother gives birth to a baby. The birth happens naturally, just like this soul being birthed, to awakened, to ready to be connected to the avatar. Sometimes it's hard to explain some of this stuff, but anyways, I'll be back in the morning, and I'll talk some more about some more stuff. So I hope everybody had a great I guess it was weekend. In the end of last week, I hope everybody had a a good time. I hope everything went well for everybody. I hope nobody is in a serious crisis. And if you are, just know that it is part of what you have to go through. Just don't remember, this is a movie or a projection. It's not as real as what you think it is. You need to give it a certain amount of realness so that you get the experience, but don't get, yourself too worked up and burdened, because this is school. You're not going to go to a class and be all upset because you didn't know something, and you're going to work towards, the test. So anyways, I will talk to you tomorrow.